Hello, and welcome to the All Around Natural Beauty Show. I'm just going to take a moment and get situated here. So y'all can see my glasses are still dark, so I'm just kind of running in here. I'm just going to take a moment and get situated here. So y'all can see my glasses are still dark, so I'm just kind of running. There. All right. So back at the ranch here, kind of just ran here in here to get started at my I think I was supposed to be here at 1:15. Anyway, I'm running late, y'all. So I'm doing the whole thing here. But I'm just excited because of how things are going. Like yesterday, I did a live where I spoke about y'all see the title here of the show, and it basically stemmed from a new viewer's comment and really encouraging and motivating me to speak out on behalf of mostly women, but however, men too, because like I showed that there are some wicked women out here that also have that, negative energy inside of them. As we saw, that type of upbringing is what contributed to the type of monstrous males that we see today. So I'm excited. Just give me 1 second to y'all to get more situated here. Like I said, I did kind of just racing here, and I want to move this microphone around and make sure everything is looking good and sounding good for you. So 1 minute, please. All right. I don't know if that really helped out or not, but okay. So we're going to welcome you. I'm going to welcome you to the All Around Natural Beauty Show, where we are really, it's going to be more women centric. After yesterday's reception, what I got from what I did, I'm going to read the comment of the person that made the comment that just really touched me. It was so emotional, and it just really encouraged me and inspired me and motivated me to not let this kind of stuff fall by the wayside, to continue to shed light on it and share my wisdom with what I know and what I have seen over my nearly 52 years of life here, of life experience, to show the patterns. So that's why I'm actually using this as an opportunity, because this is something that's been postered around the nation here, postered probably around the world, who knows. However, to show that this is typical behavior and it's more common than not. And the reason why they're making kind of a big stink about this is because this was allowed to go unchecked, to where it boiled over into society. And then when it started to affect more than the people that's involved with it, then all of a sudden now they want to say stuff. So I'm saying that these are topics that we really do need to focus on. And one thing, like I said, this is kind of a work in progress. This a new direction I'm taking this channel in, and I want to just take a moment. One of the reasons why I feel so passionate about it is because it seems like every time I get online, like the front page are all of these horrible stories, and I'm gonna click on that and just share the screen, and it's gonna be a fresh something. I'm gonna show y'all how just getting online, what's going on here. So it's gonna take a moment here. Let me just yeah, here we go. Share the screen. So here I want to share my screen with y'all so y'all can see how you really don't even have to go looking for these things. It's just there. All right. So here we go. Let me just go ahead and change this view up. That's how I like to up here on it. But look here. I just typed up the Darrell Brooks and all these different stories here on this man, what he's done, how he wasted taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money to do all of this court proceedings and all this stuff, which I'm very grateful that was done, because he pretty much shows exactly how these narcissists think. And we can see too, that the mother and the grandmother, they give evidence too of my dog out there barking. Hold on one second. I'm about to yell at the dog real quick to say shut up. One moment. All right, cool. It's a little, not a little, but he's a big pit bull puppy who is going through his teenage years. So, and it's a good thing too because it's a male. So I'm having the opportunity to observe this here male behavior in its whole raw entirety, which is quite interesting. Quite interesting too. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So this Darrell Brooks person is an individual who has a history of being abusive towards women. Baby mama put hands on her, and also I wanted y'all to see too because I watched the testimony of the ex-girlfriend, the baby mama, the testimony, and it was so sad. You can see how she had, she said she met him when she was 15. They've been together since she was 15. I think she was like 32 or so. So for 17 years, I'm sure, like he didn't just on November 2nd put the hands on her. So he's been kicking her ass all these years. His family has been enabling him by supporting him, bailing him out of, jail whenever he probably gets arrested for it. As we saw, he was bailed out for the November 2nd incident where he punched her in the face and rammed her with the same weapon that he used to run down the group of paraders, the innocent parade goers, the innocent victims, the innocent 6 people that took their lives, and the dozens of others that he injured. So we see here that the narcissistic mother will breed this type of monstrous male and leash him onto society for it to be some woman's problem, because when this wasn't anything new. And then we saw too that it was in their nature to be this way. So before I kind of ramble on too far, I want to go back to what I said I wanted to do, was to look at the front screens here to show just the front page. I wasn't meaning to just click on there. I really wanted to show front page, like what I see when I first get on to the tabs here. All right, so we have a new screen. All right, so let's see here. We're sharing the screen. And as you can see, here we go, something here. So this is something interesting, but here we go. A fugitive mother wanted for murder after her 5-year-old son is found dead. All right. So I'm pretty sure if we clicked onto this and found something, there's going to be a male that is connected with this situation and this mother, But just to show y'all that it's not just women, look at here. That kind of looks like, suspicious of those shoulders there. But anyway, we go back over here. Okay, this is what I'm seeing on the front page here. Y'all see what I'm seeing here? I'm not gonna say that because that's a whole other story here. It's kind of some pretty wide shoulders, but and if you cover that up, how would you know that is a All right, anyway, back over here. All right, so I continue to scroll down and see. I'm pretty sure I'm about to see some violence somewhere. Oh, here we go. Wow. All right. Woman convicted in kidnapping of 3-year-old Alabama girl. And I remember this story. I hope it continues to share. Let me see if y'all seeing that too. This story here, I remember this. It was a little toddler. And let me see. Y'all not able to see it. Let me go ahead and switch over to the new screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. This is really real sad. What took place here maybe about 2 or 3 years ago. There's a little toddler, and this woman was involved in her murder and sexual assault. This woman here, right here, this whole sack of crap. Yes. So these are the horrible things that's happening. A little child was murdered, and she had something to do with it. She was involved. She was the co-defendant in the kidnapping and horrific brutality that they did to a 3-year-old. This whole piece of sack there. Yep. Yep. All right. So these are the kind of things that that I'm seeing when I'm looking at when I just get online here. I get online and I see this horrible stuff. So I just want to say, let's take a moment of silence for all the women and children who have been victimized and whose voices have gone unheard because of the crazy making behavior and the gaslighting that has been performed on the society in whole for us to have women believing that it's all in our heads, like we just making all this up, it's all in our heads, we're emotional and all of these things, when clearly we're not the ones who are emotional. Darrell Brooks proved that. He had an emotional rampage, he exploded in rage. He Right? So it's the males that are emotional. They're the ones erupting in anger when a woman chooses not to mate with you, or decides she doesn't want to spend time with you, decides she doesn't want to be personal with you. These men are getting angry and blowing up and attacking women, killing, unaliving women for not wanting to be with them. And it is scary. It is scary. It is super scary. So what I want to do now is I want to read. I want to take the time to read the comment that that really kind of guided me more down this direction of where I'm going at um, with the channel here. And sorry, I keep looking around this camera so I could read here. Let me see here. That's Is that it? Yes. Here we go. But that is not the one. Okay, so y'all just bear with me for 1 second, because the comment to me deserves to be acknowledged, because I wasn't really sure about what type of reception I was going to get by talking about this topic, because it's scary, because women, we have been groomed and conditioned to believe that other women are our enemies. So we compete and we struggle against other women. And it's like the men are sitting back just laughing. So they're like, they're just really playing out the whole narcissistic dynamic of triangulation. So they're basically triangulating women against women, especially older women against younger women. Like, I'm pretty sure some of the men, they will accuse me of being a bitter old maid, bitter and old and all this kind of stuff, when really it's them. Like, they're trying to do that because they don't want you young women to listen to an older woman like me, who's had experience and who's been around long enough to see that it's a trap. It's a trap. They're trying to trap you in these relationships so they can abuse you and kick you around and do all these horrible things to you. And we see it over and over, like this one lady with Darrell Brooks all these years. And to go back, statistics show that a victim will return back to the abuser a total of up to seven times before they finally figure out how to escape, leave, and stay gone. Like, really get out of there and don't go back. Because after further listening to her testimony, and I'm talking about the ex-girlfriend, or even the current girlfriend, because she admitted that they were texting and arguing over the phone prior to her telling him where she was at in the women's shelter. So she had to give him the address and came there. And if you look back, there's so many different episodes of different shows, the first 48, all those little ID networks and those things. You need to really watch it so you can identify these patterns of behaviors, that the red flags are there. And a lot of times we ignore them. Like, why did she invite him back there? That just shows how gaslit and how mentally abused she was, to where the Stockholm syndrome kicks in, to where you start feeling sorry for the abuser and welcome them back. So she gave him the address and told him where she was. So by doing that, she invited the danger off into the women's shelter that she was supposedly there for. So what I'm saying, in these type of cases, women sometimes are, we can't really trust them too, because if she is still, not aware that she's being abused, or continue to accept the abuser, you can't help that person. You can't help that person, because she really endangered the lady who she was, the roommate that they had set her up with, by inviting the monster there. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have to really think about it. When it's time to escape out of these abusive relationships, you have to put together a real escape plan. This leaving and then calling and texting and still interacting with the abuser is crazy. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. You should have no contact with someone who's put their hands on you, because they've shown you that they don't care about you. They don't care about your life. So there's never a time that you should forgive and accept back into your life an abuser. Someone who has abused you has shown you that they don't care about your life, and you are being, you know, at risk. You're really risking your life to, continue to interact with someone who couldn't control themselves and they raged on you. All right. So this is why I'm continuing to want to talk about this stuff, is because we need to recognize this, and we need to recognize these little subtle hints, like holding these women responsible for that. If you are the mother of a male child and he grows up to be a batterer, and you still have connections with him, you still uphold him, you still hide him out from the police, or whatever the thing is you're doing, and or bail him out of jail, to have him to go out there and unleash his anger and rage on society, you are responsible too. That blood should be on your hands also. But yet we have a lot of women that hate ourselves, so we why did my camera just leave? My monitor died on me. We treat other women like they're our enemy. We treat the other women like they're our enemy. Oh no, come back. We treat the other women like they're our enemy. All right, perfect. That's that there, and there I go. Okay, I'm back. So getting back to what I was trying to do here, was wanting to pull up my the last. I don't have the. I can do it on my phone. The last live I did on yesterday. Like I said, that there was a comment that was really touching. It's extremely touching, and I just want to read to it, because it was. I don't want to do that. It was pivotal enough to where I'm like, okay, I need to keep talking about it. And I could see that it's really something that's really on my heart. It's on my heart to do this. Oh, okay. And I got some other comments too. All right. So this here comment, I want to pull it up. I wonder if I could do that. Okay, I'm going to try to do something new here. So it's not like me just reading. But, oh, look here. More killings. Okay, I'm trying to click on a fresh page, but here we got some teenager killed a man. It's a male teenager. It's just violence. It's just in there. Here we go. Man charged in Green Bay, Alabama killings, found victims on gay dating app. Oh my goodness. Eastern London man who beat woman to death on Christmas Day. Good heavens. It's just, violence against women, violence against children. It's really sad here. Wedding bloodbath brawl involving 50 guests. See 9 men handed sentences in, what's that? Cheshire. It's just really sad how violent everything is. It's super sad, and yeah, it's super sad. It's super sad, but I'm grateful that we do have these avenues where we could talk about these kind of things, and the more people that stand up and speak about it, and not, just say, okay, well, it's not happening to me. But the more we do that and we say that it's not happening to us, then we just kind of open up the door for, it to happen to somebody we know, and it may not be happening to you, but you are connected some kind of way. Like, people know. Another thing too, I wanted this, like I said, this moment of condolence. The other person, this Shanquilla Robinson, has come across too. So we're going to give a moment of silence for that young sister, 25 years old, went on a vacation with some so-called friends, and then there's videotape of them, of one woman just viciously beating her. And for those you don't know, I have a nursing history. I've been working as a nurse for the last 30 years, and I did take a lot of years where I spent working with spinal cord injury patients and stuff. So if you have a fracture in your spinal, depending on how high it is, that's the mechanism for breathing. So it appears that her neck was broken and she suffocated because she couldn't breathe. She couldn't, the message, from the brain to tell your lungs to expand and take in the breath and all that stuff, the signal was broken in the fight. And it was so sad that they actually videotaped it and taunted her. How horrible. That was horrible. My heart went out for the family to have seen that and to know what happened and for them to set up a lie. But all that to say is that women were involved in this. So when we focus our attention on saying, be careful for these males, we really need to make sure that we continue to put focus on the women who are, narcissistic and evil too, because they're the ones that are being, that's involved in this too, in one way or the other. Either they're being manipulated by these males to, do these things, or they are causing the males to do it. Like I said, there's the narcissistic mothers that do these kind of things. Like from the sounds of it, it sounds like the mother was bailing him out, and like kind of okay with the fact that he would flip out and beat the mother of her granddaughter, her grandchildren's mother, and for there's so many women that are out there like that. They are just brainwashed with this whole thing that, the men can do no wrong. And so, they just feel like they are above the law. All right, so let me just go ahead and find this here comment, and I'm going to read that, and then we're going to get off into one of these videos, and then I'm going to show y'all how I analyze behavior. You have to watch everything, people's body language, all kind of things. There's like standard reactions and things that you can look for, these red flags, yellow flags too. Sometimes we got to, before we even see the red flag, try to start looking for the yellow flag, just to caution, just those little things, get your little radar up, get more comfortable with identifying these yellow flags, because by the time you see the red flag, it might be a little too late. You may have a hard lesson to learn, and sometimes that's how we learn things, by going through it. But let's try to use other people's situations as examples so we can learn from that and not have to learn the hard way, by losing a loved one or something like that. So this here was a comment from the live on yesterday. All right. Okay. So let's see. We go here and share the screen so I can read that off to you. And I'm hoping that here we go. Okay, so this comment came from a Peeka Boo, and this was about 3 hours ago. And Peeka Boo says, "Thank you so much for addressing this blatant enabler that surrounded DB." I'm sure that's Darrell Brooks. "Hearing them speak at the sentencing was so painful and totally frustrating for me. These matriarchs surrounding him directly enabled his behaviors all his life. That enabling, helped to develop DB into the monster he became." Yes. "And then to have them, after the horrific murder, to speak and still attempt to shift blame, yes, and accountability unto society and mental illness showed their lack of true moral character." Exactly. These women reminded me of so many women that I was surrounded with growing up, a society of narcs who raised even more dangerous narcs. What's going to become of this world? Just scary. I agree with you too. I was so grateful that you made that statement, brave enough to do that, because you'll have people that'll have a problem with that. They'll try to come and attack us or send shade. And that's another clue too. If anybody is sitting there trying to throw that type of negative energy out, that's your clue right there, that's kind of narcissistic right there, to blame the victim, this victim blaming. And we see where Darrell gets it, because the grandma called in a lie. You know what I mean? So, and that was so quick, and not one male stood up for him, right? It was all women that he even did his little magic stuff on. And that's why. And I'm pretty sure, look at who was supporting him. And then if the grandma had a husband there, why didn't grandpa say something? Right? He made it a point not to be in the shot. And we were only made aware that he was there because grandma couldn't lie her way out of it when the judge saw her husband in the background in the shot. So we see how she quickly lied. So she showed her lack of respect for authority by just blatantly lying like that, right out, flat out lie. See what I'm saying? So you have to watch these little subtle clues. And she showed her lack of respect, how she was speaking about the victim. She never acknowledged what happened or any of those things. Never. She said she offered. She offered. She didn't give anything. She didn't give a hoot. So that what was happening there with that. And that comment really inspired me to, get out here and keep on talking so I can be a voice. And also to highlight the things that we didn't see that were obviously there. Like if we go back and we'll see that Darrell Brooks, DB, attacked the woman, the ex baby mama, on November the 2nd, and was, supposed to have the trial for that incident in December, and blew up before that time and erupted this horrific, nasty energy out on society by using his car to run over and murder innocent people because he was angry. And how the grandmother was, just give my grandson a slap on the wrist and you tell the people you're sorry. And up until the last minute, the one thing I'm doing, I'm going to play y'all a bit of I think I want to say it's the verdict. And we can see his body language and how he was feeling very confident. Like you can see that he totally believed that he was going to be able to, convince everybody, because he's been convincing everybody his whole life. He's been able to talk his way out of stuff. It sounds like he just did, minimum time, like he did 2 years. I mean, not 2 years, 2 days, a day, 30 days. He was just getting slaps on the wrist this whole time. And so it just encourages the person to get more and more violent. It's like, if I got away with this, oh, I did that, and I'm back out. And it's a way, he had been arrested for harassing the victim, intimidation, all these type of things. And he'd just been able to keep getting away with it. So even they start to believe they're grander and all that kind of stuff, and that they can do all these things. Until he heard her say that second guilty verdict, that's when you can see that's when it just hit him. But anyway, I don't want to give away too much of it, because I'm hoping that I got the right video queued up here for y'all to see. Let's see. And then we're going to go over, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it and show how, these narcs their day is coming. It's time for us to start speaking up. If you got a narcissistic grandma that's been, knowing that her son has been molesting children, abusing women or people in any way, and they still support them, they still cover them, they still lie for them, they still protect them, they are just as guilty as the abuser. Anybody who supports that needs to be called out to. All those people that's sitting around there, you know that you got an uncle in the family, he didn't molested kids, and or he's been abusing his wife and all that stuff, and nobody says anything until somebody famous it happened to. Then all of a sudden we want to get on our high horse, start pointing the finger, ooh, R. Kelly and all this stuff, when most of us got somebody in our family that's been doing this for forever and been getting away with it. It's time to start opening up the closet and let all these dirty secrets out and stop protecting these abusers. The only reason why the secrets or these abusers are allowed to continue to abuse is because we are holding these secrets. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. We deserve to be free. If you have been victimized, stop holding in and protecting these abusers. It's about time to start calling them out, and exposing them so we could start to turn things around. But it starts off with self-healing. So we have to give ourselves a voice and forgive ourselves for holding these secrets for so many years and not doing something about it. Because she held the secret for all those years and continued to go back to this DB. All of a sudden now his rage is going to continue to escalate, because an abuser is not going to respect you if you go back. It's over. You are pretty much signing everything off. It's open season now once you go back, because you are telling them that you are signing up for more abuse. So you never ever take back the abuser. You have to go no contact. That's another story too. But these things, these systems work. These systems work. You have to get free from these narcissists. And even if it's mama, sister, grandma, that it doesn't matter if it's male or female. All right, because there's a thin line between the narcissist and a psychopath or a narcopath. There's mixtures of all these things. The prisons are filled up with them. But anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and get back on this here Darrell person with the let's see here. I think this is going to be closing arguments.
To get to the point where the parties make their closing arguments and ultimately to put this case in the jury's hands. It has been challenging. It has been met by resistance from.
All right, so I'm not going to play all of the judges stuff because I don't want any problem. I'm going to kind of get it close to where you can start to see his reaction while she's talking and stuff like that. Let's see.
Himself.
So he's pretty much just being a distraction for the whole court case, But in his mind, you can see, look, he thinks he's got it. Because he's got so much practice, been doing this for forever.
Hearing any audio out of this stream from the courtroom, but of course, Wisconsin in November.
That is done electronically. You were provided with a written copy previously. Are you asking for another copy of that, sir?
Yeah, because I don't have it.
As a courtesy, I'll have my clerk print off a copy and provide that to you.
Is it proven subject matter jurisdiction?
Your objection to the lack of jurisdiction has been.
Look at the guy in the back. He's like, huh? It's okay. I'm not laughing at the people, but just to show their expressions on like him in the back, he's like, people are concerned because these narcissists have been allowed to lie and get away with stuff so long that victims are worried that they're going to do it again. Like they get away with it by making up these stories and stuff like that. And so you can see the concern in some of the survivors, the family members, the people that's like in the courtroom, hoping that the judge doesn't buy what he's saying here, sees through these things, which, of course we could see that they do, but it's very scary because for years, these narcissists have been able to do this stuff and have people fooled and tricked that they aren't, doing this wickedness. Like I said before, these covert ones, they'll throw rocks and hide their hands and then, and be like, oh, what? Look, see, they're very good with it. So very clever. And see that, here, I'm so grateful that this is out here documented so we can see the antics that they will go through to do this, to paint these pictures and stuff like that. So let's see here. Let's keep it going.
It is a meritless argument. I've indicated that in my written decision as to why there is subject matter jurisdiction. And I will continue forward with the final stages of this trial,
She trying.
which I hope include your closing argument and then the final instructions to the jury.
I would hope it proves subject matter jurisdiction on the record too.
Blah blah
Right,
blah
I will
blah blah
instruct
blah.
the jury to come out. For the record, the written decision is once again being provided to the
I accept
defendant.
for value in return for value this document, as it is not based in lawful law. And it does not prove subject matter jurisdiction whatsoever. Refers to some complaint that was filed in the name of a trust, not my name. Were you aware?
See these narcs? He's trying to get her distracted. He's so confident in himself that he could pull this off, that what he's talking about has, and she even told him it has no merit here. It's nothing, he's just trying to be distracting and control the conversations. He thinks he's still in control. But she's announced for everybody to rise for the jury. He's not, just being defiant, not doing any of
Aware
these
of that,
things.
Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, the jury has been asked to be brought out. I mean, I've requested that they be brought out. They're on their way.
Were you
Please
aware of
be
that?
prepared with your closing argument.
Were you aware of that, Your Honor? Or is that a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer any questions as a public servant?
See, so he's got his lines rehearsed. He just keep up with the lines.
All rise.
So that is a tacit agreement.
All right. Check out his posture. All right. Look at that. Head up high. Look at his shoulders. He's standing up, head up high. He is so confident. Look at this guy's face. He's a little bit concerned. See, look at there. This is how you can see the victim. See his how his smile is turned down and the fear in his eyes. There's a little concern because he was talking some stuff. He sounded like he was a real attorney for real. And that just let y'all see how, narcissists and attorneys might be kind of close, right? Anyway, that's a little side joke there. But all right, but look at his posture. Very confident right there.
Record to reflect, the jury is coming out.
He's hurt. I'm not sure which family member he attached to, but he's being strong. Now, see, the people here, they're frustrated because they've been, he's been just wasting all this time. All the evidence shows about all this stuff. But the narcissist, he's still thinking he's got something up his sleeve.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
He's smarter than all of them.
Go ahead, sir. You may begin your closing argument.
I'm not ready to begin closing arguments.
So this is your opportunity to provide your closing argument to the jury. Please start. I've started the timer of 1 hour.
I'm informed of that, Your Honor, but I'm not ready to proceed as I don't understand the reason why the questions asked before the jury was present were not answered. There are issues that needed to be addressed outside of the jury, as you always say, which I don't understand why. The jury deserves to
Mr.
need
Brooks,
to know.
this is your opportunity to present your closing argument to the
Look
jury.
at this
Please
guy's
do
face
so.
in the
I'm
back.
informed of that, but the jury needs to understand the truth, their rights, and their duties, as they have not been informed of their truth, their rights, and their duties.
Mr. Brooks, the court has begun the instruction process. I
Y'all
read
keep watching him because he's about to throw his
73
ace up
pages
his
this
sleeve
morning.
now.
And into the early afternoon, I have another 30 plus pages to read.
Now, see, this is a work day for her. She's all in the day's work. It's her morning case. She's already read and did all the stuff for the jury. But watch, see, he thinks he's got something. He's got an ace up his sleeve and he's about to play his his hand right now.
Did you
They
inform
will
the
be
jury?
informed of the law.
Did you inform them that they can
Mr.
nullify
Brooks?
the law?
Mr. Brooks,
Look at his face.
you do not have that.
Look at his eyes. I noticed he didn't keep the mask has been on. He got the mask on because these narcs, they very concerned about keeping that mask up, right? So he's probably using this as an excuse to put this mask on here. But look at his eyes, right? He feel like he got her against the rope. And look at this guy's expression. You see his face in the background, like what? He's surprised, like he didn't know nothing about that. These people like, what? What's he talking about? Look at his face. See that? He look at his. He like, ha ha. Look at him like, oh crap. You know, he's been in this course. He kind of know pretty much what's going on. He's probably, you know, disgusted that this guy's wasting so much time. But these spectators here, this is not something that everybody is accustomed to. It's not every day that you have lost a loved one and some idiot crashed into, you know, on purposely drove their car in there and, you know, did this. So this is news for him. He's like, huh? What? You know, what's going on here? And look at his face. Keep watching, y'all.
Right to request that. And
Were
I'm
they
advising
informed?
you one more time, this is your opportunity to provide your closing argument. Please begin.
I intend to. When ready, I just want to know if the jury was informed that they can nullify the law.
Mr.
they
Brooks,
are-
you
that
have
they
no
have
right
the
to
power.
make that argument to the jury.
It's true. They have the power.
All right, I'm going to excuse the jury.
They should know that they have the power.
Wow. And see that? He thinks he's got this ace up his sleeve here because the jury got the power. He's saying that the jury got the power, and you know, that once he tell them that, you know, he's feel like he's convinced the jury to like him, and the jury, you know, as long he could talk his way out of it. He feels like he could talk his way out of any, you know, and then he's got the woman judge and all this stuff. And then the two women prosecutors. This whole time he's probably just feeling like, oh man, I got this. You know what I mean? He's been working and manipulating and controlling women his whole life, from his mama who's been coddling him and enabling him and all that stuff. So he hasn't had a woman to really put it down on him and, you know, take control and all that stuff. So you can see in his mannerism when he's standing up there, he's all smug and like, you know, because he's been getting out. They've been rescuing him. Mama and grandma and them been rescuing him all this time. So he feeling like this ain't nothing new. Grandma got me out this before. My grandma run this town. He probably talk that kind of talk and stuff like that. So it's, you know, these are things that we need to watch out for. So here we go. Let's keep it going and see what else are we talking about here? Where that at? Where my thing at? Where is my mouse? Oh, here we go. No, where is that? That it? Here we go. Apologize.
Please rise for the jury.
Look at his face. He's standing up even more tall. Y'all see that? This second time when he stood up. See that? First he had a little bit of arch here, but now he's standing up even more straight. Look at his shoulders are starting to come back. This guy is looking concerned. He's looking concerned. You could tell this, you know, he's just a regular person. You know, he wasn't expecting to have to be in court on this date. You know, I'm not sure who his loved one is, but you know, these are just regular people. Not, you know, he's got to deal with this stuff here. But look at him. Look at his energy. His little back is straight. He's slightly concerned. They're waiting for their justice. He's been pulling all this time, wasting almost a year. So the judge just removed the jury again because he started. And he's thinking he's going to be able
Thank
to
you. Please be seated.
entice the jury.
Mr. Brooks, you do not have a right to request jury nullification directly from this jury. I direct your attention to the Bajerkas case, BJERKASS, that's State versus 163 Wisconsin 2nd 549. While you are not incorrect that the jury has the power to nullify, they don't have the right.
All right. Do you hear that? She said the jury has the power, but not the right
To do so, and no party has the right to instruct or to request an instruction, or to argue jury nullification. You may talk in terms of fairness in general terms, but you may not go further. You may not argue that the jury should discard the instructions in the law and find you not guilty for that reason. You may not use the phrase jury nullification. You've done that now at least 3 times in earshot of the jury. Twice while you were in the other courtroom, I was able to mute half of what you said the second time, and then
Look at
of
him.
course you raised.
Look at him. He's fixing his tie because he's smug. He feel like he got her on the ropes here. I'm about to get out. I'm about to walk. Let me straighten up my tie. Look at here. I got the jury. I've been charming people my whole life. Ain't nobody tell me no. I'm about to tell the jury that they can set me free. Yeah. Yeah. Look at him straightening up that tie.
That once again while in front of the jury just now. You also indicated you weren't ready to give your closing argument. Sir, the time has come for you to give your closing argument. If you choose not to do so at this time, then you will forfeit your right to present a closing argument by your conduct.
I haven't made any such choice. So you can't coerce me into a constitutional right waiver when I have not waived the constitutional right. And I will not allow you as a public servant to do that.
All right, look at this guy's face. You see that? He's like, these people are really concerned because this guy, he's like a super narc. Like he is super narc. But you can see the cop here, the sheriff, the deputy here. He didn't sat through many of these type of, situations. So he already knows how this is going to end. So you can see, this is just a day's work for him. But these people are concerned, these narcs, when they do this kind of stuff that, without, admitting the truth and stuff like that, it's just a way to continue to inflict abuse and show your lack of, concern or care for people.
I have not made a choice.
Sir, the time has come for you to present your closing argument.
Are you making a judicial determination that you're denying me a constitutional right in open court?
I have not made such a
record?
Determination as of yet, but you can forfeit your constitutional rights
Under
by
what
conduct.
lawful law?
Illinois versus Allen, State versus Anthony.
Illinois versus Allen does not reference anything pertaining to rights when
This
talking
guy's
about
looking,
State versus
listening
Anthony.
hard.
Illinois
the Supreme
versus
Court
Allen.
of Wisconsin referenced both that decision when it essentially extended the reasoning or adopted the reasoning of Illinois versus Allen to then find that a defendant could forfeit an important constitutional right by conduct. In State versus Anthony, it was not the right to be present in the courtroom, it was the right to testify.
Okay, so none
And
of those
the
that you just
reasoning-
named have anything to do with the closing arguments, Your Honor. You've used Illinois versus Allen repeatedly to when it comes to me being removed from the courtroom. Not one time did it bring up anything dealing with a closing statement or a closing argument. So how's that same statute being used for something that it doesn't even refer to or pertain to?
Mr. Brooks, the Allen decision, Illinois versus Allen, and the Anthony decision, which is State versus Anthony, are two examples of cases where
It's called
the defendant
crazy making behavior when they the word salad with the argument and present it back. He's trying to get her to get flustered so it can stay in control. These are tactics that these narcissists use
lost
often.
a very important constitutional right because that right was forfeited by the conduct of that particular
And
defendant.
that was to be present in trial, correct?
The right to present a closing argument is no different. Because it is not evidence, it could be said that it doesn't even rank as high as the right to testify, which is guaranteed by the constitutions.
Which I was denied the
I'm
right
not
to
prepared to
be
make
able to
that ruling
testify to.
here yet today, but I will tell you this, sir. The time has now come for you to present a closing argument. There will be no further delays.
It's
I will
a
not be
delay.
taking any further adjournments for you to prepare. You were advised yesterday that this court would proceed today with instructing the jury and with the parties making their.
And I just want to stop right there and just say what an awesome job that the judge is doing, keeping the control and not letting him get under her skin. You know, she kind of loses it a few times, but when you're dealing with these type of severe narcissists like that, they'll just keep on badgering you till you just, you know, fall apart. That's part of the whole thing. So the thing is to not argue back with them. Don't do it, because they need you to give them fuel so they can keep going. They need you to be, they need that in order for them to get back in control. You'll notice that the more excited the person that they are attacking gets, the more calmer that they get. So they can be like, see, told you she was crazy. Told you they're just trying to be prejudiced or racist or whatever his argument is. They're trying to be unfair and not give me a fair trial. You know, they will always have something that they are contributing to this. Oh, wait, look at me. I got too many of these going. Here we go.
Closing arguments.
You made that while
It is
violating
up-
my constitutional
Sir,
right.
please don't interrupt me, because
Well,
you've now
you did.
interrupted me a couple of times.
No, once. So let's
Twice.
make that correct. Once.
That's the third time.
Okay, now you can say
So, Mr. Brooks, I'm advising you yet again. The
I
time
don't
has now
consent to
come.
being called
That's
that
another.
name.
Look at him. He has no respect for women. No respect for women.
Interruption. The time has now come for you to present your closing argument to this jury. You were
And
brought back over to this courtroom for that purpose.
I'm going to let them
That's
know.
another
Look at
interruption.
him.
No, I'm going to let them know that they have rights and they should be informed of the truth. It's not me
Are
trying
you
to
telling
give.
me, sir, that
It's
you are
not trying
going
to
to
give.
let me ask you a
No, hello.
question.
I'm not trying to give any
Sir, you're
jury
interrupting
instruction.
me, and you
Look at, he really thinks that he has the right to do this. I'm gonna let them know. Like, look, he telling the judge what he's going to do.
haven't let me finish. So are you telling me that you are going to disregard my very clear directive to you to not bring up the topic of jury nullification?
That's not what I said.
That's why I'm asking you.
I don't understand that question because that's not what I said.
Sir,
Mhm.
you may not argue jury nullification
I'm
to
going
this
to
jury.
inform them of the truth.
So you're going to inform them that they have the power of jury nullification.
They do have the. You just said on the record that they have the power for.
Sir, I direct your
You
attention
just said that.
once
Did
again.
you not just say that, Your Honor?
Wow.
Sir,
You
the
said I couldn't
jury,
instruct them.
the jury
on
has
that.
the power, but not
Look
the
at the
right
guy
to
in the back.
nullify.
He like,
Right.
A
You said the
party-
power. You said the
Listen
power.
to me, sir. You're interrupting me once again.
So I'm going to inform them that they have the power.
Are you telling me, sir,
I'm
that
not
you are
telling you no
going
such
to
thing. I just
disregard
told you what you just said.
my directive to you to not raise the issue of jury nullification during your closing argument?
That's not what I said. You just read and said that they have the power to. That's what you just said, Your Honor.
Sir, State versus Bejerkus says and stands for the proposition that although
He's
the
trying to
jury
hold it
has
together.
the power of jury nullification,
They have the power.
no party has the right to argue for jury nullification.
I'm not arguing for it, Your Honor. I
In
just
that
want them to be
case,
informed.
The
I just want them
Sir,
merely to be
you
informed.
can
That's it.
call it informing, making them aware.
Yeah, they
Whether
should be aware
You
of
are
the
not
rights.
allowed to make them aware of their power to nullify.
How
That is
can
an
I not make them-
improper argument.
Your Honor, how can I not inform them that they have a power? How
Because
can I
that
not
is not a
inform them
right
of a
that
power
you
that they
have, sir.
have? I'm not giving a new jury instruction.
That is
That's not
because
what I'm
there is
arguing.
no jury instruction.
He is seriously surprised because he thought this was his ace in the hole. Now look at his posture now, starting to slump down. He's pleading the case, like, because this, if he can't tell them, if he can't convince the jury to just let him off, his everything's over. I got to be able to tell them that they got the power to let me free, because that's how he's been getting off his whole life, is convincing women to accept whatever treatment he's trying to give, or is he gonna get angry? So we're gonna keep on watching here now that the power is losing out. Look at office. I love this in the back. Okay, and then this guy's like, okay, he's starting to feel a little bit more confident that maybe
instruction for jury nullification,
Yeah, I'm
sir,
not- I'm
because
not-
it's not allowed.
I'm not attempting to give them a new jury instruction. I'm merely attempting to inform them of the power that they have.
Mr.
That's not
Brooks,
against the law.
I'm advising you one more time. You may not raise the issue of jury nullification
I'm going
before
to
this
inform
jury.
them of the power that they have.
Mm.
I'm not
You are
giving them.
telling me
I'm
that
not
you
giving
are
them a jury
insisting
instruction.
on telling them about jury nullification. That's
That's-
what I hear you saying.
That's not what I said, though. Don't mischaracterize what I'm saying. You just read and said that they have the power. They have the power to do that. So how is
But
informing
not the
them-
right.
Power that they have, they are not to be instructed on it. That is very clear in the law. In
Your Honor.
addition to, no, let me finish. In addition to the case that I just cited, I'd cite to you from the jury instructions, the law note on jury nullification 705. What that says, sir, is I'm not going to read it all. It's many, many pages. But the bottom line is it is improper for a court to allow a defendant or a defense attorney to make an argument or make the jury aware that they have the power to nullify a verdict.
And Your Honor, you just added this last night. That's why I had to sit there for an hour in the holding cell and wait for you to change the whole paperwork because I brought that up. So you never intended for this to even be an issue.
Mr.
It
Brooks,
never was brought up.
if you
But
think
then
I
when I
wasn't-
raised the issue,
If you
Your Honor, let
think
me
that
finish.
I'm not prepared to deal with an argument on jury
I
nullification,
didn't say
then you
that's not what I said. That's
You are
not what I
missing the
said. In
mark.
all fairness, that's not what I said.
The record should accurately reflect that you were kept in that holding cell.
Why was I kept
so
in here?
that
This guy's pretty good, though. Give me the due diligence. You can see that he's got so much practice that he is super confident that he's about to win this argument. That just shows you how much practice these narcs got at this whole being argumentative. They love arguing. They love
my
arguing.
clerk could finish
Adding a jury instruction that was not there.
76 verdict forms, and it's ×2 because there's a guilty and a not guilty.
Okay.
For each, no, let me finish.
So
sir.
how
You've
did
interrupted me
I have why did I
repeatedly.
have to sit here for that where I could have just went to my cell and had it delivered?
Wow.
We had this
Mr.
at the end
Brooks.
of last night before you called recess.
I'm not going to
We
debate
had a
that
whole
topic with
we
you
had a whole
further.
conversation about
Mr. Brooks, you
me
are
bringing up about the jury
defiantly
nullification.
disregarding
She trying
this
to.
court. You
Here we
you
go
can
with this.
roll your eyes
Here
at
we-
me
because
all
it's-
you want.
It's ridiculous, Your Honor.
Wow.
You just stated that they have the power to nullify.
Would you
any
like,
law,
if you would like,
but then
I
I
will
said-
read this to you, sir, the part of the case that's important, but you're not letting me get a word in edgewise. I'm trying my best not to remove you to the other courtroom, but that is oftentimes what I need to do in order for this court to make a full record without you interrupting me. But you need to be fully aware that you may not raise the issue of jury nullification in front of this jury. It is not an allowable argument or an advisement or making them aware. However you want to describe that, sir, whatever verbiage you want to put in front of it, you may not do so. And this court has the power and the authority to limit what you say to this jury, even in a closing argument. And
Wow.
if you're telling me through your conduct, through your words, that
And
you
your
are
actions.
going to disregard that direction, you will forfeit your right to present a closing argument
Under what lawful law?
under State versus Anthony.
That it doesn't refer to that.
State versus Anthony
it
may
does-
not have dealt with
It hasn't dealt with
the
closing
right
arguments.
to a closing argument, sir, but
He owned it too, so I can tell that he didn't did. He didn't had the whole year to get all this stuff, rehearsed and practice and all that stuff. So he got his little scripts. He got his little lines he come with.
the reasoning
You just said it right there.
nonetheless is
No.
fully applicable.
No, you
because
can't.
the more
You can't
general
change the law, Your
principle-
Honor. You can't change the law. That's
I'm not
practicing law
changing
from the
the law,
bench.
sir, but the general
I
principle.
know you used to be in legislation.
Look at there.
But
See how narcs do that? See how he turned it around? I know you used to be in legislation, so it's kind of a backhanded compliment. So he can throw her off now, so she can get emotional and defend her position of who she
you
is.
can't practice law from the bench.
Sir, I'm
You
not
can't do
practicing
that.
law from the bench.
See,
You are.
Now she's defending herself. He's turning the argument around, right? He's very good, very good.
If you're changing, Your Honor,
I'm not
you're
making-
attempting to make a separate case pertain to something here that doesn't even pertain to it. It has nothing to do with a closing argument. Nothing that you just
So,
named. Not
Mr.
Illinois
Brooks,
versus
I would
Allen.
like to make a record. Would you please show the courtesy and respect for
I
me
will,
to
Your
do
Honor.
that?
I will.
All right. So looking at the Anthony case, all right, and that case starting at head note 7, paragraph 54 says the following, and you need to let me get all the way through it. We have recognized two distinct ways in which a defendant may give up his rights, waiver and forfeiture. State versus Pino is the first citation that they reference. Waiver is the intentional relinquishment or abandonment of a known right. Multiple citations there, I won't repeat them all. Waiver typically applies to those rights so important to the administration of
And
a
she's
fair
taking
trial
all the
that
time
action on the part of a litigant
to, do all the explanation and everything for him, telling him the law is going in one ear and out the other because he's going to try to take control
often
again,
involves
throw
the
her
failure
off.
to make the timely assertion of a right. That's a cite to the Dina case and Olano. Rights that are subject to forfeiture are typically those whose relinquishment will not necessarily deprive a party of a fair trial and whose protection is best left to the immediacy of the trial, such as when a party fails to raise an evidentiary objection. However, there is a second aspect of forfeiture, doing something incompatible with the assertion of a right. State versus Vaughn, 2012 Wisconsin Appellate 129, citing Illinois versus Allen, 397 U.S. 337. They went on, the court, that is the Wisconsin Supreme Court in Anthony. As previously noted,
I'm kind of just letting this roll out because you're going to see shortly his body language change when he feels like he's got her. Like he's reading through all this. He's intense. He's about to find it now.
Be subject to forfeiture.
Wait for it.
Incompatible with the assertion of the right is at issue. They go on to discuss.
Look at him. See, he got it now.
There's a right to be present.
You
And
done?
I am utilizing
Waiting for her to finish.
the guidance from Illinois versus Allen and State versus
He's
Anthony.
totally
It
confident.
directly guides this court that a defendant may forfeit a right by conduct by doing something incompatible with the assertion of a right. In this particular case, you are very clearly telling me you are going to disregard what I told you about notifying the jury about nullification. You have absolutely no right to raise that in front of the jury. It is improper. And unless you're willing to tell me you will honor this ruling of mine, then you will forfeit your right to present a closing argument. That is my ruling.
Wow.
I object to that ruling, Your Honor. Object to that ruling.
Are you willing to make a closing argument, sir, that does not reference jury nullification?
I'm going to inform the jury of their power.
Look at him. He told what he gonna
Again,
do.
I never stated that I was making a new jury instruction.
Look at him putting his papers together like he's whatever. I don't know what you're talking about.
And every case law that you just stated made no reference to closing arguments. It was all pertaining to being present for the
We got a new
proceedings of
face.
trial
His brother
and
looking
for
like what?
testifying.
Sir,
Not
what I'm
one time
telling
did
you,
you, hold on, I let, Your Honor, with all due respect, I let you make your record. I didn't interrupt you.
Woo! Look at his face. I let you do it. Wait, now let me do mine. I sat there because he's very confident. He knows he has a winning card here. He's got a hand.
Not one case law that you just cited made any reference whatsoever to a closing argument. Not one. So how is me merely informing the jury of the power and the rights that they have? How is that a forfeiture of being able to give a closing argument?
Well, in addition to the cases I just cited, sir, I'd also point you to State versus Bajirkis. 163 was.
But in her defense, you can see here she's kind of lost topic because she should just go right back to the first law that says that the jury has the power, but not the right. So it doesn't matter. They don't have the right. They don't have the right.
Wisconsin second
But she's
at 5.
go ahead and
That's
she's
a lot of
talking
things.
back.
Case from 1991. That is the first published appellate decision in
Distractions.
Wisconsin to consider directly several issues relating to the jury nullification issue. In that particular case, the court very clearly said that the defense counsel in that case was allowed to talk in terms of fairness in general.
See, so she's trying to do all these things just to show everybody that she's being fair and she's not, just already prejudging all these things. However, he is still manipulating her.
Of jury nullification. To use the words jury nullification would run afoul even more. And so I am telling you that given my inherent authority in controlling the mode and order of this court to ensure courtesy,
So she did a good job at keeping,
civility,
keeping
and to
everything
ensure
right.
that this jury is presented with arguments that are proper under the law. I am hereby telling you I am in creating a rule for your closing argument that you may not raise the issue of jury nullification in any way.
Your Honor, hold up.
Hey, look at this. Woo! Yeah. Oh, wait. Whoa. Hold up. He got to come out the mask on this one. Now, this about to get good. Y'all watch this here. He say, "Hold up, Your Honor. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait one single minute here."
I'm the only one that has to be made rules for closing arguments, but not the prosecution. How is that fair? How is that balanced?
Mr. Brooks, I'm squarely faced with your defiance regarding the issue
Defiance,
of
good
jury
word.
nullification.
It's
That
not
is
defiance.
requiring
It's
me
not defiance.
to address this issue and to tell you
Your
very
Honor,
expressly
I
that that is the
vehemently,
rule
I
for
vehemently
your
object to
closing
that.
argument.
Vehemently object to
Like
that.
he think he's in control now. Look at that. If I take out the mask.
May I ask for
He's
legal
feeling confident.
reconsideration of your ruling?
That request is denied.
May I respectfully ask for, matter of fact, I reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling.
Oh, I might be in trouble here. Let me see.
For the record, may I request a legal or factual basis for your ruling? Not one pertaining to being present in the courtroom or testifying. One that specifically talks about a closing argument.
Look at Jake in the back. He like, what are you talking about? You got any rats?
All of those requests are noted. I will not reconsider. I've put my findings and my reasoning on the record, and I stand by that record.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written judicial finding of facts and conclusion of law?
Denied.
Oh, man.
For the record, may I respectfully move for interlocutory declaratory appeal on this matter?
I see your 5 and raise your 10.
I'm not the forum for which an appeal would be sought. I cannot answer that.
You referred to it before.
You
Oh,
would
he's
be
good. He's
direct
gonna be
your appeal
held.
to
I'm confused, Your Honor,
a court of
because
appeals, not this court.
no, this is, I'm supposed to be in this admiralty court because you haven't, if we're under Article 3, then we should be in common law court.
See,
That
you
has
didn't
to
know
be
as much as you
manifested.
thought you did
Common law
about
court
that.
or the admiralty court.
Because you've been getting all these yes people
It's a
around you.
baseless argument, sir. I don't even need
And
to
what law
address
and
it.
fact? Based on what law and fact?
It's meritless.
Based on what law and fact?
See how he
Sir,
continues
I
to
am
try to
going bring
distract
this
her?
jury out and give you
I'm
an
informed.
opportunity
I'm informed of that.
to present a closing argument.
Yeah,
If
but
you
you're
violate,
also,
please let me,
but
sir,
listen,
you're
you just
interrupting me
made a
yet
rule.
again.
You just tried to put me under a rule that no one else was put under.
Because you didn't understand the law.
This rule, sir, given your
The
stubborn
circumstances
defiance
don't,
on
Your
the
Honor,
issue
that's a
of jury
prejudice to my
nullification.
defense. You can't place me under certain rules and not place the prosecution under the same rules.
Sir, the
be
circumstances of
fair.
this case and your insistence on arguing jury nullification has resulted in this court creating this
I
rule.
haven't argued it. I said that I wanted to inform the jury of their power. I never once said I'm going to make an argument. I'm going to give them a jury instruction.
You may not
never
advise
said
them
that.
or make them aware in any way that they have the power
And why not?
jury
Why can't they be
nullification,
informed of their power?
because it would violate the Bajorkas decision, sir.
Violate what decision?
All right, sir, I am going to bring the jury out.
And I'm going to inform them that they have the power.
Wow.
And if you do that, I will dismiss the jury and I will declare that your right to present
You
a
can't do
closing
that.
argument
Under what
has
lawful
been
law?
forfeited based
Then
upon
I make a
how
oral,
I've outlined that
oral
to
motion
date.
for
I'm
legal
not going to
finding of
declare
fact.
that at this point because I want to see what you will do. But if you raise the issue of jury nullification, I will immediately dismiss the jury. You will forfeit your right
You can't
to
do that.
present a
Wow.
closing
Under what
argument.
lawful law can you?
And then if you continue to
Under
interrupt
what
me,
lawful law?
you will be
Wow.
removed to the other courtroom as I
So I'm
complete
being
the
held in contempt
instructions.
again. Is it civil or criminal?
Go ahead.
I apologize. May I ask the court to consider perhaps an alternative, and I fully
That's the
respect.
prosecutor. She just probably tired because they've been here for 3 weeks over this bullshit, and he's just wasting time. So people ready to get back on with their lives and stuff. Let's just go in and get this over with so we can move it on. But he is draining it, dragging it out, and this is a work day for them. She's trying to get home. She probably got some beans in the slow cooker, or going out to dinner or something like that. But people got things to do, and he is wasting time.
The ruling the court has just made, and I understand the basis for it. We all know the defendant in his petulance will say jury nullification in the first 3 seconds the jury's in the room.
Objection to that.
Proper
I don't
thing
think
to
that
do,
I
I
should be
think,
talked
Your
down
Honor.
Stop
to.
interrupting,
I don't
Attorney
think I
Ocker,
should be
please.
talked down to.
allow him to make his
Oh,
closing
he gonna get a
argument.
prison hell.
I will object.
Got
if
his
he
rights.
misstates the law. You can instruct the jury to disregard any misstatements of the law.
So she's basically trying to get, let's keep it moving here. Just let him bring him on in here. If he starts cutting up, I'm gonna object, and then you do your judge thing and go from there. If you get out of line too much, then we can just remove him. So basically, they're tired of waiting. They get this on. Let's go. And here's the opportunity. So she's giving the judge an out because she knows the judge is really trying hard to show that she's being diplomatic, she's being fair, and not, taking advantage of somebody or treating them misfairly. The judge is doing an excellent job, and also the prosecutors and stuff. I haven't seen all of it, but the few clips that I've seen, even just right here now, like I said, I'm 51. I've been around long enough. I've seen enough things, and I'm a good judge character of people or, situations, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get this finished. We're almost through, y'all. Thank you so much for bearing with me.
And we continue in that fashion, if possible, for a reasonable amount of time. And if it becomes to the point where there's no reasonable, legal, credible argument that's being made, then the court can decide as to whether or not he's forfeited his right to a closing argument. But we could at least try to, by merely objecting and the court telling the jury.
Look at her over here like, yeah, let's do that. I'm ready to go home too. Shoot.
Instructing Mr. Brooks.
My granddaughter's supposed to be getting dropped
We
off.
could try to allow him his opportunity
He's
to
like,
provide a closing
whatever.
argument. If that's.
I'm going out for
unworkable,
happy
then I
hour.
think this record will be very clear as to the efforts of this court. And I think there is materials in the bench book, or I'm sorry, the jury instruction 705.
I'm just going to kind of speed up just a little bit because she's a little long-winded.
If he disregards
But the judge accepts it. Okay, let me get back here. I want y'all to see his reaction.
and have him present from the other courtroom would be the second step. And then
All right, so she's basically saying, okay, here we go.
your objection is noted for the record. That will be the course of action that this court takes. The first time you violate the rule, you may be subject to forfeiting your right to be present, where you will give the closing argument from the other courtroom.
You see it? His
And
face
if
dropped
you
right there.
continue in a blatant disregard of requirement that you not reference in any way jury nullification, I may make that final determination outside the presence of the jury.
I object to that, Your Honor.
All right, with that, let's bring the jury
For the
out.
record, may I respectfully
Uh-oh.
request the legal reconsideration?
Hold on, y'all. I gotta let my nephew in.
So is that a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer my objection, Your Honor?
I decline to reconsider.
I reject that ruling and take exception to that ruling, Your Honor.
Noted for the record.
For the record, may I request a legal or factual basis for your ruling, Your Honor?
Denied.
For the record, may I respectfully request a written judicial finding of facts and conclusion of law on this issue, Your Honor?
Denied.
For the record, may I respectfully move for interlocutory declaratory appeal on this matter?
I'm not the court to address that.
For the record, may I move to stay these proceedings until this instant matter is
I'm back,
adjudicated
y'all.
by a court of competent jurisdiction, which this court has no subject matter jurisdiction
Denied.
under,
The jury
based
is
on
coming
what
in.
law or
All
fact?
rise for the jury, please.
Based on what law or fact? Because I'm going to inform the jury of their power. They deserve to know.
I apologize. All right. So what I was saying was that was it. That was the end of it there. Basically, I want y'all to see his body language, how he was showing how entitled he was. And, so it continues on. But just to get y'all an opportunity to see when these narcissists are trying to manipulate you, how strategic they are, that he was actually able to even appear to be a real lawyer because he had his facts together, he had his speech, he had a line, he had a reply for everything. So it shows that, he did the research, he knows what he can say, and he really was thinking that was his ace. His ace in the hole was going to be, to tell the jury that they got the power to set him free. And he really probably truly believed that he was so charming that he could convince the jury to let him off. That was his whole plan. So in the next video, and we'll probably do that one tomorrow, when he gets the sentencing, that's when you can really see when he loses all the fight. And he loses all the fight from that whole smug, head up, chin up type of chest up, shoulders back, and all that stuff. It's going to deflate like a balloon. It's going to be deflated, and you're going to see the recognition of, oh wow, this is serious. This is the real deal. And mama and grandma ain't gonna be able to help me. Like mom and them is not going to be able to help out. So here we go with that. And I'm just excited that, day 2 got a lot of information out of this, a lot of stuff to talk about here is, going really good. So y'all keep leaving these comments. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'm noticing that, more views and things are coming in, but I need to see some more. Give me some more support. Let me know y'all out here and watching. So subscribe and share the video and think about it, that we got to keep lifting our voices and stop letting these things stay in the closet. Let it out. No more secrets, especially if you're the victim. You don't deserve to have to carry the burden of carrying the secret for an abuser. So with all that to say, be safe and do all of the research you need to do to make the wise decisions to get free. Get free. This is not something that you can just leave up out of here. You really have to plan and make exit strategy, escape strategies to get out of these abusive relationships, because it's not that simple. We see how statistics show that victims return back to the abusers a total of 7 times, at least 7 times, before they finally leave and never return. So can you imagine the mental abuse, the mental manipulation that's required for you to get punched in the eye and then go back to the person that punched you in the eye or shook you or even verbally abused you? Because verbal abuse is severe too, because you can't show that. Like if somebody punched you in the nose, you'll have a bloody nose, it makes some swelling, there's going to be some evidence that you got punched in the nose. However, if somebody mentally abused you, that's on the inside. There's no wounds, there's no proof, there's no evidence of it except for your esteem when people are wondering, like, why is she still with him or her or something like that. But anyway, it's going to be more, we got something. Oh, no, let me throw this out. Somebody's polluting my chat. I got let me click this person out. Time out. Get out of there. Somebody is trying to throw dirty messages in the chat here, or spam. I got a spammer. Let me see if I can go over here and get rid of them. But anyway, so I guess I've been on here a good little while now that the spammers are starting to show up. Really sad. But since I'm still going and people are starting to show up in here, I think I may go back and revisit that one video that I did yesterday, so we can dive deeper off into the whole what Grandma said. I like to go back off into her speech, just so y'all can see these tendencies, so you can be aware of it and start developing yourself to be able to see more yellow flags before you see the red flags. Because once you see a red flag, it's oftentimes too late. So you want to be more aware, of course, see the white flags, but if you see any yellow flags, be prepared to not even go further. If you see yellow flags, that should be a sign right there that you don't want to go any further. That is far enough. You don't need to go see the red flag, because if you're not healed enough, you won't, you'll leave out of there with a lesson if you're able to leave out of it. So yeah, let's do that. Let me go back over here because I'm still feeling good. And now that I see these folks coming over here trying to, is that's my video. Sorry, that ain't the one I got to play here. Let me go find it and get out of there. I'm so excited. I'm excited. I'm excited that, this is working and that people actually seeing and knowing that, this is something that, need to be spoken about, and people need to be aware, need to be made aware. So victims will feel safe to tell, because imagine if you reported, that your significant other put hands on you, and then their mother bailed them out of jail and allowed them to come back and beat you again. So what happens is that victims start to feel less like they want to talk about it, because nothing's happening. That's like the biggest fear that you can have as a victim, is that if I told somebody and, nothing happened. That's why a lot of, RAPEs don't get reported. Those kind of things don't get reported because, victims are often blamed, this whole victim blaming. We saw too that Darnell's people were blaming the victims and blaming society and stuff. These are all narc moves to shift the blame so they don't have to take responsibility for any of this stuff here. And if I'm not able to quickly pull up a video, I'm going to probably go on and shut her down. I think I've been talking for a little more than an hour, so which is good for me. I'm happy for that. And let's see here. What was I? Because I can just pick any one of these videos and cut through. I'm gonna pick one that's short, so we're not taking up a lot of time. So here's one to see, showing him blowing up. This is supposed to be Darrell Brooks blows up again, proves judge right about anger issues. Okay, so let's go ahead and cue this one up. Let me stop it and go here and stop. So yeah, this was a little 5-minute video, but it's going to give me a little bit more material and also more opportunities to prove my case here, to show y'all how these are patterns. And if that's the other thing too. So once you learn the patterns and the cycles that these narcs go through, like they can't help but to go through these cycles. Like if you are with one and it's been, you know, like maybe they have like a 30-day or 60-day or 90-day cycle that where they can hold it together before the mask falls off, and then they start with their, you know, with their sickness, start, you know, picking with people, trying to provoke and start arguments because they need the fuel. Like they can't be happy with things being peaceful. Like their peace is just like kryptonite. It burns, it burns, it burns. They ain't liking peace and love and all that stuff. They ain't liking that just, it don't feel good. So they don't like that at all. Okay, so let's go ahead and share this here video, which is that it? Or is that it? That's it. No, here we go. All right, here we go.
That request is you specifically waive your right to do so. Without that, that's not a convenience for you over there. It's you go over there when you frankly demand removal.
Okay, now notice now he's, you know, this is after he's already been sentenced. So he's in the orange t-shirt, you know, his eyebrow, you see how his eyes are kind of lowered a little bit. He's on the inside, you can see he looks agitated, but he's trying to hold it back. This guy's looking a little bit more confident because he's already been, you know, he's already been pronounced guilty. Did I say sentence? Not sentence. He's already been pronounced guilty. So this is during sentencing phases after the conviction. So he's been convicted. That's why now he have his suit on. You know, so the suit that grandma sent him or mama sent him or all those things, he is in, you know, his little, what's his jail clothes. He got his jail clothes on. So this does something to your esteem here. Let's see what he got to say.
Under Illinois versus
I
Allen.
didn't demand anything.
No, your conduct did. So
My
you can
conduct
sit.
didn't demand anything either.
Right, Mr. Brooks,
You
please
keep
sit
changing-
down.
You keep changing
And I'm
the
going to continue
jurisdiction.
with my sentencing remarks.
You keep changing the jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is a subject matter jurisdiction that has yet to be proven on the record.
Wow, you hear all that little word salad, double talking. He's trying to look like the victim. See how he kind of having his shoulders kind of slanched a little bit, sounding solemn and like, you know, he's been done wrong. This whole time you can see he is internalizing this as he's been done wrong. I'm the victim.
In
Mr.
that
Brooks?
court and in this one,
Please sit down.
I would like to go back to the other court.
It's not a courtesy to you. If you'd like to specifically waive your right to be physically present, then I will entertain that. Otherwise, you need to sit
I
down.
never waived the right to not be present.
That's
I
because
had
you
to-
forfeited your right
I
to be
didn't
present
forfeit
by
anything, Your
conduct.
Honor.
You're
I
now
wrote-
back in this courtroom.
Your Honor, I wrote 3. I did what you asked me to do.
You
said,
never once pledged to me, sir, that
No.
you would not interrupt. And
You-
you're demonstrating by being here that you continue to interrupt.
Man, I ain't trying to hear all that because at
Wow.
the end of the day, I did what you asked me to do. You told the bailiff to tell
Mr.
me.
Brooks, this is not a debate.
You told the bailiff to
It's
tell me
not
that
a
I had
debate.
to
You
write.
asked to come over here and I honored that.
Well, I
and I brought you
exercised my
back.
right 3 times. I shouldn't have had to do it 3 times.
My
None of
right.
those
Wow.
opportunities that you wrote to me said, I pledge to not interrupt.
I never had to
Judge
do
Darrell."
that before. You've never required that before.
That is actually not true, sir.
You've never required that before. Every single time that I've been brought over there, after some time, sometimes very short, sometimes an extended
Brooks,
period of time.
You are just simply trying to delay the
I'm-
inevitable. Please sit
I
down.
don't care about the inevitable.
Mm.
It was
I need
already
to
written
get
from day
through
one
this
what was going to
hearing.
happen. It doesn't make me lose any sleep. about that. I know I'm okay. I'm okay with everything.
Then please sit down.
I just want to be treated fairly, which I have not been.
Please sit down.
And then Your Honor, and then you
Mr.
always make it seem
This
like
is not a
you always
debate.
make it seem like
Wow.
it's some type of aim, and it's not.
Please sit down.
We're talking about constitutional rights. You just told me, or you told the bailiff to tell me that I had to exercise a right that I should already have. I did that. Not once, not twice, 3 times. And it still wasn't honored. And then I read.
See how now he's working himself up because he needs to be able to show this argument. Like it's not even relevant what he's trying to argue about. But he's trying to fuel himself to make it seem, to do more of it.
Place this sign.
It's gonna get louder and louder.
I'm waving this for like 20 minutes. Saying I would want to come back. I'm doing this.
You're here now.
Can I come back? Can I come back?
So sit down.
It wasn't honored. And then I said, okay,
finish.
I'll write this and I'll see if Your Honor can see it on the screen. The objection sign saying, I exercise my right to be present.
If you stop for a
May I have
minute,
the order of the court?
I'll explain it, but you have to stop so I can explain it.
Your Honor, I did what you asked me to do.
Actually not.
Yes.
Let me explain
And if
you would like.
If I didn't, Your Honor, if I did not do what you asked me to do, then why was I allowed to come back if I did not do what you asked me to do?
Because I'm frankly going to a very distinct portion of this hearing where I am going to impose sentence.
Okay, that doesn't answer the question.
Matters.
That doesn't.
See how he keeps deflecting?
Please sit down and I will explain and remain quiet without interrupting me.
With all due respect.
That doesn't mean you're respecting me, so please sit down.
With all due respect, you told the bailiff when I first said, because every time that I've been brought over there in the past,
Mr. Brooks,
you always stated
I don't need a history lesson of what I've done.
That when I exercise my right to be present.
Untrue.
You always said we have the record. We have the record. We can dig into the record.
Mr. Brooks,
I know what the requirement was of me going over there. You've always stated on the record that when I exercise my right to be present, you will bring me back if I will follow the rules of decorum. That's your exact words, which you said every time.
Which you're demonstrating right now that you have absolutely no ability to do.
With all due respect.
And you can see he still thinks he's winning. He's just keeping up the argument.
I've never had to go through any type of certain words that needed to be said or stressed or anything like that before. I've always done it the way that you've asked me to do it. No different than today when I told the bailiff I would like to be present. You told the bailiff.
I feel sorry for the prison
if he wants
that
to
he
be
going
present,
to.
He has to put it in writing.
He gonna
and
get
pledge
up
to me
blue.
that he will not interrupt me.
I put it in writing
without a pledge.
So why am I here?
Wow.
Because I'm going to move on to another phase of this hearing, and I thought it important that you be here in person.
So I was here.
But you didn't reclaim your right to be back here.
Then why am I here then, Your Honor?
Allowing it to
happen. And I respect that you're allowing it, but still, it doesn't answer the question, though, Your Honor. It does not answer the question.
It doesn't even matter the question.
Honor, as a public servant, I have the right to ask questions of Your Honor.
I'm going to ask you one more time, and if you refuse to sit down, then you are in direct disobedience of a court order. Sit down and be quiet so I can make the appropriate record.
Can you tell me what the
court
order
He's
is?
not going to obey. He's now forfeited his
say
right
I
to be
wasn't gonna
present.
obey.
He will go into the
I
other
didn't say I
courtroom.
wasn't going to obey.
He'll be recessed until he's there.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Piece of work. But it just shows that they can't stop it. It can't help it. This is part of their whole pathology. They've got to go through it, so he's going to have to continue to go through these cycles. But, I just wanted to just put that one out there too, because I'm still feeling a little warmed up here and, still early. So I'm just excited to just continue to, to battle, to fight for this cause and to bring awareness to it. And I'm just grateful that, people is stepping up to the game too and getting tired of this type of stuff that's going on. All of these horrific things been happening and projected, and women being blamed for it and all that good stuff. So thanks again for watching, and probably do something like this again tomorrow. Like I said, it's been good for me. I've really been having a good time doing this. It feels good. It feels good knowing that my voice is being heard, and that it's gonna help somebody, in the future, to be able to hopefully avoid getting entangled with somebody like this, or how to be able to get out of it. Like I said before, these situations are extremely difficult to get out of, and we need to make sure that we are being safe, and that we are calling out all of these women who are on the wrong side too, that are potentially dangerous. Again, like I said, the mother and the grandmother actually upheld this, and you can see that this is something that's been going on for forever. And I'm happy that these things are now starting to stop. Let me see here. I just look on here. What is this saying? Let's see. Oh heavens, more stuff. More stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay, so here was another one. Virginia shooting victim. All right, good heavens. Man charged in Green Bay, Alabama, killing found victims on gay dating apps. Okay, I think I already read that one earlier. Father of missing Talladega County girl arrested. Wow. Look at all this, just horrible. Man charged with arranging rapper Young Dolph's killing. Wow. Man who pushed 17-year-old girlfriend to death shot at during police encounter. Wow. And this is just, I just clicked on the new page, and then here's, all this stuff here. 4 friends posted photos enjoying Idaho college life. Hours later, they were killed. Good heavens. And I guess there's more devastating Brittany Griner news. Wow. Okay. Mom of Shaquilla Robertson didn't believe she died from alcohol. Yeah, that was the other story that I had spoke about a little bit earlier. That's really sad, and goes to show too how we can't even trust these women, because she went there. There were girlfriends too, and I'm pretty positive they were the ones that lured her over there and to another country to just murder her. So it's really super sad. Hold on a minute, y'all. All right, thank you guys. Oh, okay, we got some more folks up in here and joining up in here. Thank y'all for being patient there. So if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe and hit the like button on your way in here. And thanks for the new people that just joined. And what I've been talking about for the last hour and some change is this Darrell Brooks, and we were discussing how this matriarch type of women that was surrounding him actually created this monster, to do this by the enabling and, making excuses for him and all that stuff, allowed him to just kind of go unchecked to where, created this thing here. Because the woman that he was, all this anger and stuff was directed to was an ex-girlfriend that he'd been with for since she was 15. She was 32 at the time of the interview, and had been with this man since she was 15. So imagine the type of mental abuse. And if he's been, kicking her behind for the last 15 years, it's difficult for those people like that to get out of those situations. Like, I'm sure we have all known somebody or known of somebody who's been in an abusive relationship for years, and you wonder, like, why would anybody stay in that? Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine, being punched in the face by a man or even a boy or something like that. You know what I mean? Because, you guys have that Y chromosome. So you're naturally stronger than us, and shame on any man who puts his hand on a woman. That's like this despicable. That's like the lowest something, because obviously, why would you pick on somebody who you're stronger than and all that good stuff? So it just goes to show, like, a lot of these things that they are projecting off on women is really their own fears, as far as like even this whole, we're gonna die alone and be alone and all that stuff. That's really their fears. That's why they're flipping out and killing co-workers who was like, oh no, I'm not interested. You know what I mean? You can't, even as a woman today, you can't even go and tell a man that you're not interested. Like, I'm single and celibate. Like, that's not allowed. Like, I run the risk of being attacked or shouted at or spoken to harshly if I don't respond properly to a man because he smiled at me or he said hello or something like that. It's just sad. It's sad, and it's really scary too. It's really scary. It's like, why should I have to allow you into my space because you feel you feel like you want to speak to me, or you feel like you like me, I look good to you and you want to be with me? What if I don't feel that way about you? And these men are forcing women to accept them. And if you don't, then all of a sudden you have to be faced with, they want to take your life because they're so angry. You guys are the ones that don't know how to control your emotions. You don't see women flipping out and killing men because they chose not to be with them. Not at the same rate that the men are doing it to the women. Like I said before, this is not saying that all men are bad and all women are good, because as I've just pointed out, that these women were responsible almost equally because they created this by, allowing him to do this and sticking up for him and making excuses for this sad behavior and not training our sons to be better. We have an overabundance of useless males, and they're angry. They're angry because it's nothing for them to do, and they already lack drive. So when they see you, the woman, moving and grooving, doing your thing, building up and doing all that stuff, it makes them, they get angry. And that's when you run the risk of them wanting to, unalive you because of their jealousy. They don't want to see you with nothing, or they don't want anybody else to get with you. So like if you try to say you're leaving or something like that, you run the risk of, being unalived. So that's why it's super important to, if you are in a relationship right now with somebody who is currently being physical with you, you have got to escape. But you have to, especially if you've been there with a lot of years, you can't just leave. You have to really plan a true escape, because we can look at this situation, how the ex-girlfriend, baby mama, had fled to a women's shelter for the abuse, right? She is still contact. That's why it's so important that you go no contact. No contact means no contact. You have to block them, delete them. You can't email. You can't do any of those things. You have to go no contact, because once you open up the door to communication, you have signaled to them that it's okay, that you're okay with the abuse that they want to give to you. You open the door. You accept it. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it's super important that you go no contact and stay no contact. If she had not connected and made the contact with him and went back and forth arguing, texting, arguing, and calling, arguing, it was witnessed that they were arguing and stuff like that. She admitted they were, arguing and stuff like that. And she gave the address, told her location. She gave her location to an abuser, to someone who had previously disregarded your life. You gave that person your location. So that just goes to show the type of mental abuse that you receive and you accept when you continue to connect and communicate with the abuser. No contact means exactly that. No contact, no contact, no contact. You have to stay safe, because once you have left them, you have inflicted a horrible wound, and they want to pay you back. You will be paid back. So that's why you can't go back. Because once you've done that, you can't go back. If you go back, get prepared to get treated even worse, because you have to pay for that, because they are blaming you. They're blaming you. And we have seen in the past that these men will blame the victim. Look what you made me do. You get punched in the mouth and say, look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. So they never take responsibilities for their own actions. These are all clues. These are red flags. These are red flags. And like I say, if we train ourselves to look for the yellow flags, we can be safe before a red flag even shows up. Because most of these people will show the yellow flags. But a lot of times we have our desires, or we've been programmed and trained to think that we need to be in relationships. So we already start grooming ourselves to accept. And it's something that you should never do. Don't ever accept. Your life is very important to you. You have to know that you are the most important person in the entire world to you. Everybody has to have that. Because if you're not the most important person in the world, then you're not going to be able to help anybody else out. Because until you can love yourself, you cannot love anybody else. That's why you always have to do self-love first. And self-love is going to make sure that you don't allow somebody to come in and abuse you. You're not going to be around people that's going to be talking bad about you, calling you names, belittling you, and all those kind of things. Those people will be limited, because as soon as something like that slips out of their mouth, you're going to feel some type of way, and you're going to know that, hey, I've just been assaulted, verbally assaulted. Sometimes you have to not just check the tone, but how it was said, and that's the other reason why I wanted to play that grandma's video again, because we can hear in her voice when she first came out, I'm not the wicked grandmother. She wanted to make sure she was there to clear her good name, and that's all she cared about, is how she was being viewed. And that's another thing for narcs. They're worried about appearances, like how they look. They're worried about how that makes them look. So, these are more clues and stuff like that. So I'm so excited about, all of this new material that's happening for me, that, things are going well. Things are going well. So far I haven't really seen any comments. Anybody have any comments? I know this is kind of a touchy situation and stuff too, because a lot of times victims usually get attacked by people who are narc supporters, the flying monkeys and stuff like that. And that's the other reason why I really want to talk about this, because I know that a lot of times, a lot of victims, me included, would be worried to really speak out about stuff, because you don't feel like defending yourself against the people that's supporting the abuser. These abusers have supporters, because most of them very charismatic, and they get off on that. The same way we saw here, and then like when we play more videos, we can see that he really thought he was going to charm the jury, that there was going to be no way that they were going to find him guilty. Just give me an opportunity to talk to the jury. That's why you can see he was super confident, and that just crushed his whole case, because that was his ace in the hole, that he was going to be able to tell the jury that they got the power. You ain't got to listen to them. Y'all can let me out. It don't matter whatever. You don't listen to what they saying there. Don't worry about the videotapes that they done showed you, all these witnesses that said this stuff, all the evidence, all the stuff where I beat up this lady here and, wanted to kill, all that kind of, don't listen to it. You have the power to set me free. Basically is what he wanted to say. And then when that didn't go as how he planned, he showed how he can rage. He can rage. And that's the thing that we have to be advised on. These narcs, they can rage in a minute. And when they are in the rage, you see how big it gets? Because there was other video where it showed after she gave the address when the mother bailed him out. That was her mistake right there. So what we really need to do is start reaching out and helping these victims by acknowledging their abuse. Because if nobody's acknowledging your abuse, it goes to support the crazy making behavior of the abuser, telling everybody that the person is crazy or, something's wrong with them. Because he tried to throw up in there that, she went out for a drink or something like that to hold her addiction or whatever against her. And that's probably how he lured her. He probably offered to bring a drink or something like that. But still, for her to feel comfortable or even know that she's taking a chance because she had the roommate on standby. And then she sat off into the car with somebody who, somebody who has put hands on you and all that stuff and end up you getting popped in the face again. And then for a person to try to run you down. So what I'm saying is that we reach out to the victims because there are some men that are in some toxic relationships too. And like I've said before, these narcissistic women are very clever and sneaky with theirs. They will use other males to unleash the violence, because, females really is not really built that way. However, we see, what happened to the poor young lady in Mexico, by brutish women. It's sad that we have been turned into these monsters too, women being violent and all that stuff. And all at the guidance and the manipulation of these men. So, we women are my prayer and hope. I sound like the grandma. My prayer, my hope. No, but really on my heart for us to heal ourselves. That way we could love one another, women loving one another, building each other up and showing that we are the community and, grow from there. Because if we united and how far we can go, we can really go super far. So I'm just excited about that. But I will start to wrap this up. This has been a great live. I think this is the longest that I've gone live on this here channel. And like I said, we've taken some new directions, but I really feel that this is where my voice will be heard the most. But I will make announcements on, here. I washed my hair today and I put on my curl definition and do a little sponge action on the sides. And that's it. So again, to shout out to us Fousey sisters and the big chop. And as you can see, this hair does grow. And like I said, a lot of times especially if you're trying to get out of something, doing a big chop might be a good, healthy way to let go of this old negative energy and start fresh. Back in 2018, when I was, escaped out of a narcissist, being entangled with one, I cut my hair, rented my hair to get new energy off up in there, because most of the times after you are done out of a narcissistic relationship, you have to refine yourself because, most of the time they would have knocked you up with a baby or two, trap you. So now you are, that's like a 20-year sentence, So, you may not feel as good about yourself. Maybe you haven't really kept up your hair. You put on weight or all these different things. And then you got that narc in your ear, harassing you, calling you fat. And I don't want a fat wife and all these little negative things, or, really belittling you and just devaluing you constantly. When these things are happening, it takes time to heal, because you, first of all, most of the time you might not even be aware that you're being abused. It's like, they call it salami slice. So, if you get, sorry, y'all, little bitty slices, it's not a gaping wound that's just gushing blood or anything, but if you had a whole bunch of these little bitty cuts, you could potentially, lose a lot of blood. So that's their strategies by doing the little salami slices. So just wanted to say that too. And y'all can leave some more comments. I really do appreciate the comment from Peeka Boo. That really touched me and just really inspired me. I am ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. But here we go. So I'm going to say a few things. Lipstick is by Max. It's Max Lipstick. Mac. M-A-C. Mac. And Tommy Hilfiger dress, size 6. So here we go with that. And love y'all and see y'all in another video. Peace and love. Always remember to love yourself first before you can love somebody else.